A year ago, if you'd told me my life would completely blow up over one stupid Christmas dinner, I'd have laughed in your face. Back then, I was 23, working insane hours at a downtown Chicago restaurant trying to prove myself in a male-dominated kitchen. I was broke, exhausted, but proud as hell of the work I was doing. Real talk, that kitchen was the only place I felt like I mattered, like I was building something. Outside of work, not so much. I lived in a tiny half-furnished apartment I shared with my cousin Sophia. She moved in with us when we were kids after her mom died. Technically, she's my cousin, but growing up, she was more like a sister. We shared bunk beds, birthday cakes, secrets, at least I thought we did. She was the golden child, blonde, viral on TikTok, effortlessly charming. The kind of girl who could spill coffee on someone and get offered a modeling contract for it. And me, I was the intense one. Always working, always tired, always too serious. But Sophia and I had history, and I thought that counted for something. Then came Ryan. Ryan was a photographer slash freelancer slash someone who definitely had a podcast. I met him at a pop-up food market. He asked if he could take a photo of the octopus dish I was plating. I said no, but he made me laugh, and I gave him my number anyway. I was dumb and in love, and honestly, I thought he was different. Real, grounded, a little artsy, a little weird. Just my type. Fast forward 9 months, he practically lived at our place. Always editing photos on our couch, talking about how underrated my flavor palettes were, whatever the hell that meant. And I was falling for it. Hard. Of course, I introduced him to Sophia. I mean, duh, she was my family, she was living with us. I even joked one time, don't fall for her, she's too expensive. I should have listened to my damn self. Last December, 5 days before Christmas, everything exploded. It was one of those nights where nothing felt right. I had just gotten home from a 13-hour shift reeking of garlic and sweat, only to find Sophia acting all weird. Distant. Overly cheerful in that fake influencery way she did when she was hiding something. Ryan was already there, which was fine, but he didn't even get up to greet me. He just sort of glanced up and looked away. I brushed it off. Later, I went to grab my straightener from Sophia's room, and I didn't even knock because, why would I? We've shared everything since we were 10. And there they were, on her bed, kissing. My boyfriend. My fucking cousin. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I just stood there, heart in my throat, trying to convince myself that I had somehow walked into a hallucination. Sophia froze mid-movement. Ryan turned and looked like someone caught him committing tax fraud. I whispered, "WTF is this?" Silence. Not an apology, not even a lie. I backed out and slammed the door. I don't even remember walking out of the apartment. I ended up sitting in my car for 2 hours just staring at the dashboard like it might give me answers. Spoiler, it didn't. The next morning, my parents told me I was overreacting, dead ass. I called them because I was spiraling and needed support. I expected hell, I needed them to be angry for me, to take my side. But my mom sighed and said Sophia didn't mean to hurt you. Things like this happen. It's just a boy. Just a boy. He was my boy. And she was my cousin. And they knew. They already knew. Sophia had apparently told them a week earlier, and they said nothing to me. Not even a heads up. Like I was just collateral damage in her Barbie life. I felt like a goddamn fool. My own blood was more worried about keeping the family holiday dinner drama-free than telling me my world was about to implode. So yeah, I hung up. Blocked them all. Sophia tried to apologize via a Fing Instagram DM. Like it was a collab gone wrong or something. I didn't mean to hurt you. Ryan and I didn't plan this. Girl, you planned outfits for your coffee runs. You planned those carefully edited reels where you pretended to drink tea and read feminist poetry. Don't tell me you didn't plan this. I deleted the message. Blocked her too. And for a while I disappeared. I went to work. I came home. I cried in the bathroom where no one could hear me. I slept with the TV on so I wouldn't feel so alone. I stopped cooking for fun, which for me, that's like forgetting how to breathe. Then I hit rock bottom. One night in February, I just broke. I left a goodbye letter scheduled to post to Tumblr, explaining everything. The betrayal, the gaslighting, the silence from my parents. I swallowed a bunch of pills and curled up on my mattress thinking maybe this way they'll finally pay attention. But I didn't die. Because my best friend Devin, bless her chaotic nosy soul, knew something was off. She showed up with Thai food, found me unresponsive, called 911, and literally saved my life. I woke up in a hospital bed with dry lips, a pounding head, and more shame than I thought possible. I survived. Barely. And then, something in me snapped, but in a good way. Devin helped me recover. She made sure I ate, got me into therapy, and let me cry in her lap like 5,000 times. But she also told me this one thing I'll never forget. You're not weak because they broke you. You're strong because you're still here. That hit hard. I moved in with my grandparents who, unlike the rest of the family, actually showed up. They didn't push me to forgive. They didn't say, but she's family. They just gave me a room and quiet and space. And that's when I decided, if they weren't going to hold her accountable, I would. A few weeks after I got out of the hospital, things were quiet. Too quiet. I was living with my grandparents trying to piece myself back together. Therapy twice a week, journaling like my life depended on it, which honestly it kind of did. I started cooking again, just small stuff at first. A lemon pasta dish I used to make when I was stressed. Roasted tomatoes that reminded me of home before home became a trigger word. But no matter how many dishes I made or how many therapy sessions I sat through, the rage didn't go away. I wasn't okay, and I was so tired of pretending I could just move on. I kept thinking, how do you heal when the people who broke you are still out there acting like they didn't do shit wrong? That's when Devin stepped in again. She called me one night all casual, like she wasn't about to drop a fucking bomb. So, don't hate me, she said, which is exactly what someone says right before doing something chaos adjacent. I posted your Tumblr note. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, I didn't name names, but people figured it out. Turns out Devin posted a screenshot of my letter on Facebook and Instagram stories with some seriously bold captions like "Golden Girl," "Ain't so golden," and "This is what betrayal looks like." She even tagged Sophia, and Ryan, and my mom. I was frozen for like 10 straight minutes. I didn't even know what to feel. Embarrassed, exposed, relieved, all of it. Devin was like, look, if they can humiliate you in private, they can face the truth in public. And honestly, she wasn't wrong. The post exploded. It didn't go viral, but in our little world, family, friends, people from high school, it was everywhere. My phone was lighting up with messages from people I hadn't talked to in years. One girl from culinary school sent me a voice note that said, "Holy shtilina." I had no idea. I just thought Sophia was your roommate. Not that. Even more surprising, a bunch of Sophia's own followers started dragging her. Hard. People were commenting on her posts like, wow, you sleep with your cousin's boyfriend and steal her family, or this isn't clean girl aesthetic, this is just dirty. It was cathartic, not gonna lie. But the fallout, oh, that was delicious. My mom got kicked out of her weekly church group, her church group, the one she always bragged about like it was the Nobel Committee. Apparently, some of the moms there had daughters who read the Tumblr post and connected the dots. They didn't even confront her gently. They just straight up told her she was no longer welcome. Sophia lost a sponsorship deal with a skincare brand after screenshots of her. Sorry you feel that way. DMs leaked. Turns out people don't love influencers who ruin their cousin's life and then try to PR spin their way out of it. Her follower count dropped by like 20K in 2 days. Ryan, his family is big on religion. Big. I'm talking Sunday Mass, Bible study, purity ring energy. Once his mom saw the post, she called me to apologize. She said she was devastated and ashamed, and that Ryan was no longer welcome in their house. He went to some spiritual rehab place in Arizona for a while. I only know that because Devin stalked his Instagram and sent me a picture of him hugging a cactus or something, finding himself apparently. But here's the kicker, all that public shaming. That was just the pregame. Because a few days later, I found something out that lit my whole soul on fire. I was cleaning out my inbox, something I hadn't done in forever, and I stumbled across an old email thread between Sophia and my dad's office. Back when he was helping her launch her little lifestyle brand, he CC'd me on a few things. I never opened them. Too painful. But now I read every single one. And holy sh! There were emails showing that my dad had been giving Sophia money for months, like actual wire transfers. Thousands of dollars. Marketing support, he called it. Want to guess where that money came from? Our family's restaurant fund. My inheritance. That's when everything snapped into focus. My dad wasn't just keeping the peace. He enabled it. He funded it. He was literally bankrolling the girl who fucked my boyfriend and blew up my life. I called Devin immediately. I need to ruin them, I said. Like, for real this time. She was already halfway through opening Canva to design a presentation. Queen behavior. We decided to go public. Again. But this time with receipts. We made a Google Drive folder with screenshots of the emails, bank transfers blurred out a bit, but still readable, and clips from Sophia's Instagram stories where she claimed to have built her brand from the ground up with zero help. We wrote a short post explaining everything. No dramatic language, just facts. Cold. Surgical. Then we posted it from a burner Instagram account, tagged everyone, her brand partners, my family, her followers, and we included a link to a live stream event. That's right, a fucking live stream. The caption, Lena's Kitchen, the truth tastes better served cold. Sophia showed up to the restaurant preview like she always does, late, overdressed, and smug as hell. She didn't know she was walking into her own funeral. We had a mic ready, a projector, and the live stream rolling. I walked up and said, "Thanks everyone for coming." Before we served the pasta, I wanted to serve some truth. Then the projector lit up with the receipts. Emails, bank transfers, DMs, everything. Sophia's face turned sheet white. My dad, who had been invited by accident according to the RSVP system Devin rigged, looked like he'd seen a ghost. Or a subpoena. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just stood there and let them watch their empire of bullshit crumble. After that, Sophia's brand collapsed. Sponsors pulled out. She posted some sob story notes app apology and disappeared from social media for a while. My dad got investigated for misuse of business funds. Apparently, he had been dipping into restaurant money for more than just Sophia's little TikTok business. As for me, I went back to the kitchen. I cooked. I built something real. I started posting my own recipes online, not polished, not perfect, just me. Messy buns, stained aprons and all. And people listened. They watched. They connected. I got a call from a small publishing company about a possible cookbook deal. Me. The one everyone ignored. The one they said was too emotional. Fuck that. I am emotional. I'm also talented, strong, and done being quiet. Because they chose her, over and over again. So I chose me. And for the first time in a long time, that felt like enough. After the live stream, everything felt weirdly quiet. Like not peaceful quiet, just hollow. People kept texting me like, "Girl, you ended her." Or, "Holy sh*t, that was savage," or my personal favorite. That was the most satisfying takedown since Beyonce dropped Lemonade. I laughed at some of it, reposted a few memes, smiled at the DMs from girls I hadn't talked to since middle school saying things like, "You gave me the courage to block my sister too." But once all the noise died down, once the post lost momentum, once Sophia stopped posting and my dad ghosted everyone, I was left alone with it. And the truth. Even after all that justice, I didn't feel better. Not really. I wasn't sad exactly, just detached. Like I'd burned the house down and was now sitting on the curb staring at the ashes going, okay, now what? My therapist warned me about this. She called it emotional whiplash. Apparently, when you spend months fantasizing about revenge getting, it feels like falling off a cliff after the adrenaline wears off. There's no parade. No closure fairy sprinkling glitter and telling you it's all okay now. It's just silence. And in that silence, old SHT starts crawling back up. I couldn't stop thinking about those early days before Ryan, before the betrayal. Sunday dinners when Sophia and I were kids. Her stealing my scrunchies, me yelling, then 5 minutes later us laughing and watching cartoons. I thought of the night she held my hair while I threw up after my first real breakup. Of how she once curled my hair for a high school dance because I was too depressed to get ready. Those memories messed with me. I hated her, but I didn't hate those versions of her, and that made me feel fucking crazy. Devin noticed. She came over one night with wine and leftover garlic knots and was like, "All right, let's talk about the vibe in here." Because it feels like a sad girl Pinterest board. I told her everything. The dreams I'd been having, the weird nostalgia, the guilt. She let me talk until I was out of breath. Then she looked me dead in the eye and said, "Lena, you can mourn who she was without forgiving who she is. Those aren't the same person anymore." That hit, like hard. I realized I wasn't still hurting because of what she did. I was hurting because of what I lost, not just a cousin, but a whole imagined future. Holidays, birthdays, inside jokes, all that shade tea was gone, and no amount of revenge was going to bring it back. So I did something I didn't think I'd ever do. I wrote her a letter, not to send, just for me. It said, "I loved you like a sister. I rooted for you when nobody else did. I let you live with me, dream next to me, grow with me. You took all of that and spat on it. I don't need you to apologize. I don't even want it anymore. But I do hope somewhere in that curated little world of yours you realize what you threw away." I folded it up and burned it in my grandma's backyard fire pit. Then I made myself some carbonara. Ate the whole damn thing. A week later, HT got weird again. I was scrolling through Instagram. Yes, I still had the burner account Devin made me, and I saw a new post on Ryan's page. It was him, alone. No cactus, no crystals. Just sitting on a bench at Navy Pier looking like someone had told him oat milk was illegal. Caption: "I need to be accountable, and I owe someone the truth." I almost kept scrolling. But curiosity, she's a bitch. A day later, I got a call from a weird number. I let it go to voicemail, obviously. 10 minutes later, the notification popped up. "Hey, Lena. It's Ryan. Look, I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from, but there's something I need to say. Something you don't know. It's not about Sophia and me, it's about your mom and your dad. Please call me." My heart stopped. I replayed it twice just to make sure I wasn't imagining the panic in his voice. I didn't call him back, but I texted, "You've got one shot. Say what you need to say." What he sent. I still think about it too much. He said that Sophia wasn't the one who came onto him first. My mom had suggested it. Apparently, during some wine night, my mom told Sophia that she thought Ryan and I were mismatched, that I was too intense, too career-focused. She said Sophia had a better brand match with him, and that if anything happened between them, she'd support it and keep it quiet. Let me say that again. My mother told my cousin to for my boyfriend, and then covered it up. And she did it all because she thought Sophia was the more likable one. The girl with the polished image. The girl who could help grow our family brand. I wanted to vomit. Suddenly, every moment of gaslighting, every ignored phone call, every time she told me to let it go, all of it made sense. She knew. She wasn't neutral. She was in on it, and I lost it. I drove straight to my parents' house. Walked right in like I used to when I still believed they were decent people. They were sitting on the couch, watching something stupid. My mom smiled like we were about to bake cookies. "Lena, oh my gosh, it's been so... Did you tell Sophia to go after Ryan?" The words came out low, cold, like steel. Her face froze. My dad looked confused. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about how your wife orchestrated the most disgusting betrayal of my life and pretended it was just a misunderstanding." My mom started doing that high-pitched thing she does when she's panicking but trying to sound calm. "Sweetheart, I think you're misremembering." "No, don't gaslight me. Not again." I turned to my dad. "Did you know?" He looked at her, then at me. And in that second, I swear he knew. Maybe not the whole thing, but enough. "I didn't," he said. "Quiet. Not that part." "I'm done," I said. "Not just with her. With you too." My mom opened her mouth again, but I walked out. Didn't even slam the door, just left. And this time, it did feel like closure. I went back to my grandparents, sat in the kitchen, made tea, didn't cry. I was done grieving the fantasy version of my family, because the real version they chose image over love, control over care, silence over truth. And I wasn't going to keep playing a role in their little family performance. Not anymore. After I walked out of that house, I didn't look back. No slow-motion glances, no dramatic music swelling in the background. Just my boots on the driveway, my keys in hand, and a kind of quiet in my chest that felt final. That was the last time I saw either of my parents. I wish I could say it felt empowering right away, like I stepped into my main character era and immediately started living my best life. It didn't. The days after were rough. I had this weird emptiness where my rage used to live. Like I had evicted a tenant and didn't know what to do with all the space. But that emptiness, I slowly started filling it with me. I started waking up earlier. Cooking again, not just for survival, but for joy. I tried new stuff, kimchi dumplings, saffron risotto recipes I'd never had the nerve to try before. I even filmed myself once, posted it on TikTok, and it actually got some traction. Just a short video of me making garlic confit talking about family betrayal while roasting cloves. I called it spite cooking. People ate that shit up, literally and figuratively. The comments were wild. Can't believe I'm sobbing over garlic. Subscribed. Is this therapy with butter? Girl, same. My cousin slept with my husband. Following immediately. That's when something clicked. I wasn't just healing, I was connecting. And not in a fake, curated Instagram life way. In a real messy, fucked up but honest way. So I leaned into it. Started posting weekly. Not just food, but little life rants too. Story times from the restaurant. Rants about toxic positivity. The occasional revenge-themed recipe. Devin helped me with the branding. She insisted I call it Burnt Bridges Kitchen. It worked. Within a few months, I had a modest but loyal following. Nothing crazy, but enough to feel seen. Enough to matter. A little community of angry cooks and betrayed daughters and people who just wanted to make spicy rigatoni while screaming into the void. I got invited to guest chef at a pop-up event downtown. It was a women-run space, super indie, very Brooklyn vibes in the middle of Chicago. I was nervous as hell. Imposter syndrome, off the charts. But I showed up. I made my grandmother's brisket recipe with a modern twist. Added pomegranate molasses and pink peppercorn. Told the story behind it, how my grandma used to make it after family fights because food was the only peace offering anyone accepted in our house. And when I served it, I looked around that space and saw something I hadn't felt in a long, long time. Belonging. Not because I was someone's daughter or girlfriend or sidekick. Just me. Lena. Standing there in my sauce-stained apron holding a tray of food and my damn dignity. After the event, the organizer pulled me aside. Said, "You've got something. Raw, but powerful. Ever thought about opening your own space?" And I laughed. Like full-on laughed. Me, a restaurant. She said, "You're telling real stories." That's what people connect to. It's not just about food. It's about honesty. If you ever want help, I've got investors looking for exactly this kind of authenticity. I didn't say yes right away. I needed time. I still had trauma hanging off me like old smoke, but the seed was planted. Back home, I told my grandparents everything. My grandma teared up and said, "Honey, your mother always thought ambition made women cold. But you're the warmest damn flame I've ever seen." And I cried. Ugly cried, right into the mashed potatoes. My grandpa patted my hand and said, "If you want to open something, we'll help. Not just with money, with hands, with presence. We believe in you." So we made a plan. I took a business course online, learned about restaurant management, licensing, supply chains. I started mapping out what the space would look like. Not fancy, not polished, just intimate, real. I wanted long tables, communal seating, chalkboard menus. Recipes that rotated depending on mood, weather, or emotional breakdowns. We found a space in Pilsen, used to be a flower shop. The landlord liked my pitch. Said the building had good bones and better energy, and I named it Root. Simple, personal. Because that's what I was finally doing, putting down roots. On my terms. Devin built the website. My old coworker from the restaurant offered to help part-time. My grandpa fixed the light fixtures. My grandma showed up with cuttings from her herb garden and said, "Plant these in the window. Let 'em know this place is alive." Opening night, we were packed. Not just with strangers. There were some familiar faces. A few cousins I hadn't spoken to since the blow-up showed up and stayed quiet, respectful. One of my old culinary instructors came and cried over the duck confit. I stood in the kitchen watching it all, apron on hands, shaking, heart racing. And I didn't feel like a side character anymore. I felt like the fucking author. But the universe wasn't done testing me yet. Because 2 weeks after Root opened, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. No return address. It was from my dad. I knew the handwriting instantly. He used to write notes in my lunchbox. Silly puns, doodles, sometimes weird facts about mushrooms. He hadn't written to me in years. I sat on the back step of the restaurant and stared at the envelope for a good 10 minutes before I opened it. The letter was short, careful, almost stiff. Lena, I watched your live stream. I won't defend what happened. I didn't know the full story. And that's on me. I see now that I failed you in every way that mattered. I'm sorry. I understand if you never want to speak to me again, but I hope someday you'll let me try to earn back your respect. You deserve better than what we gave you. I'm proud of what you've built. Dad. I didn't know what to feel. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't groveling, just honest, a quiet truth. And part of me wanted to throw it in the trash. But another part of me, the tired human part. I folded it up, put it in my journal. Didn't answer, but I didn't destroy it either. Because maybe forgiveness doesn't have to be a door flung wide open. Maybe it's just leaving the light on. A couple days after I got my dad's letter, I caught myself rereading it like it was some kind of mystery novel. Like maybe if I looked close enough, I'd find something hidden. A second meaning. A crack. But it was just a letter. It didn't try to fix everything. And I'll give him that, it didn't feel like a manipulation tactic. Just a man finally acknowledging he fucked up. Still, I didn't respond. Not because I wanted him to suffer, but because I didn't know what the hell to say. What's the reply to, I'm proud of you after years of treating me like I was the emotional liability in the family? Cool, thanks. Sorry you missed the grand opening where I finally stood on my own 2 feet. Nah, I wasn't ready, and I didn't owe him my readiness. Instead, I poured all that mental noise into Root. The restaurant became my therapy. I'd start the mornings blasting old soul records, hand-kneading focaccia while humming through my teeth. By the time customers showed up, I was already halfway through a self-guided emotional cleanse. One night, we had a lull between dinner rushes, and I was in the back frosting a damn olive oil cake when Devin came in waving her phone like it owed her money. You are not going to believe this, she said, dropping into a chair. I gave her a look. If this is another Sophia sighting, I swear to God. No, worse, your mom's doing interviews now. I blinked. What kind of interviews? Devin turned her screen toward me. Instagram. A live with some bargain bin life coach influencer. My mother. Sitting on a beige couch, talking in her performative, soft-focused therapist voice. She was saying things like, sometimes we hurt the people we love because we believe we're protecting them. My daughter and I, we're estranged, but I'm praying she finds her way back. Then she looked straight into the camera like it was planned and added, I'll always be here when she's ready. I almost threw the mixing bowl across the room. This woman weaponized grace like it was a fucking branding strategy. Devin scoffed. She's turning your trauma into her redemption arc. I swear to God if she cries on Oprah next. That night I didn't sleep much. Not out of sadness, anger. The gall. The fucking audacity to build a narrative where she was the misunderstood martyr and I was just some fragile little snowflake who needed to come around. So I did what I do when I can't scream. I wrote a post, not calling her out directly, but very, very clearly about her. I titled it, When Mothers Choose Image Over Daughters. Then I wrote, some women give birth and think it makes them saints. But the real work of motherhood isn't about blood, it's about showing up. Not for Instagram, not for community clout, but when it's hard, when it's ugly, when your daughter is on the floor crying, and you don't get to tell her she's being dramatic. If you hurt someone, don't polish your halo and hope for applause. Apologize. Specifically, loudly, and without cameras rolling. That's it. I hit post, went to sleep, woke up to 6,000 new followers and a comment section that read like a support group for daughters with narcissistic moms. That's when I realized something. This wasn't just my story anymore. There were hundreds of women out there with versions of my pain. And when I spoke out honestly, angrily, messily, they didn't run. They nodded, they related, they stayed. That felt more healing than any forced hug could have ever been. But healing isn't linear. You know that cliche, annoying as hell, but true. Because about 2 weeks later, just as I was finally settling into my new groove, I got a call from someone I hadn't heard from in a long time. Sophia. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Hey, it's me. I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from. I get it. I really do, but I need to say something, not for forgiveness, just closure maybe. I stared at my phone for a solid hour before playing it. Her voice was shaky, tired, like life had finally peeled back that glossy layer she used to wear like armor. I fucked everything up, she said. You gave me a home. You trusted me. And I treated you like disposable furniture. I thought I was winning. I really did. But I didn't realize the cost. I don't have friends anymore. I can't even look in the mirror half the time. And none of that's your problem, I know. But you didn't deserve what I did. Or what Mom did. Or what Ryan did. I hope you're doing better than all of us. Then it cut out. I didn't cry. I didn't even feel angry. I just felt sad. Not because I wanted her back in my life. Hell no. That door was nailed shut. But because that version of her, the one, sobbing on a voicemail instead of gloating on a couch, that was the girl I used to know. And I couldn't help but wonder who she might have become if envy hadn't rotted her from the inside out. Still, I didn't respond. I wrote her a recipe instead, not a real one. Just a note I scribbled and stuck in my notebook. Recipe for regret. 1 cup of lies. 2 tablespoons of stolen trust. A dash of ego. Bake at 1,000 degrees of silence. Yields 1 broken relationship. Best served cold. That felt like enough. Meanwhile, Root kept growing. We started hosting monthly dinners for women with fucked up family stories. It wasn't formal therapy, just food, wine, and honest-ass conversation. People would cry, then laugh, then ask for seconds. One night, this older woman told me, "You remind me of my daughter, only you're stronger." I smiled, but later in the walk-in fridge, I cried my eyes out into a bucket of arugula. Because strength didn't feel like armor anymore. It felt like being soft on purpose. It felt like telling the truth without needing someone else to fix it. It felt like saying, I'm still here. Bruised, yeah, but cooking anyway. And that was enough for now.